everybody. Today I'm talking about Saturn in Pisces, the planets. This is second part of my Saturn in Pisces series, 2 of 3, where I talk about if you have planets in Pisces, how this Saturn transit is going to impact you. This is very important, and also the ascendant. Saturn went into Pisces on 29th of March 2025 and will be there in Pisces till February 2028. So this is a long transit. And if you have ascendant or planets in Pisces, it will impact you. So let us explore. Hello, everybody. I'm Komilla Sutton, and I'm talking Saturn in Pisces, second part of 3. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. So what about Saturn in Pisces, and how is it going to affect the planets if you have planets in Pisces? And the ascendant in Pisces. As you know, I told you my ascendant is also in Pisces, so I am paying attention to that too. So basically, the thing is this, that when Saturn transits into Pisces, it is going to move slowly through the signs. It will retrograde each year of its travels in Pisces. And therefore, certain planets will get double or triple impact of Saturn going over up and down. So that is one thing to remember. Secondly, the Saturn's transit over the moon is the most challenging because that is part of the Sade Sati. So it has a long impact. So 7.5 years of Sade Sati, but if you have Pisces moon, you're in intense Sade Sati. But other planets, what I've noticed is that the effect is very much so at the time that Saturn hits the degree of your planet or your ascendant, and that 1 month or month and a half, Saturn is in the same Pada, same Navamsha as the degree of your planet. That's the intense part of it, not the whole sign. And then also where Saturn stations, then those degrees are sensitive. Now, the first video I made about Saturn in Pisces, I gave you all the degrees of stations and retrograde dates. So I'm not going to repeat that here. I'm going to focus on the ascendant and the 9 planets, how it impacts if you have planets there. So let us start how it impacts you. And I'm going to be looking at Pisces ascendant. So remember, the ascendant is 0 to 30 degrees. So at present, this year, Saturn will be going up to 7 degrees. And then next year, 2026, it will go up to about 22, 23 degrees. And then 27, it goes up to 30 degrees, retrogrades back from Aries. And so the late Pisces will get affected. So you have to know the degree of your ascendant. And basically, what happens is when Saturn goes into the ascendant, I have seen very often that people change their jobs, and there can be a sudden, unexpected change of job, or it is a planned change of job. And when Saturn is on your ascendant degree, would be definitely indicate that. If you are obviously working or having a career, then that would impact you. I've seen this almost 90% of the time. So it's something that you have to watch out for. and be cautious about it as well. But sometimes, it's not in your hand that the job changes and you have to move on. And otherwise, Saturn in the ascendant, you can feel very pressurized and you can feel that lot of responsibility on you. It can give a lot of hard work or other responsibility. If you have other issues, then health can be another area because stress factor is high. And therefore, the Pisces ascendant, what they can do is to take care of their health, take a little time out, and also not to overstress yourself by creating situations of stress. I would say that you have to know the degrees exactly. It's impossible for me to tell you, but point is this, that it is coming onto your ascendant, and therefore it is important to be calm and also plan for it. For Pisces, Saturn rules the 11th and 12th house. And 11th house especially would be money, finances. You may worry about that. And 12th house is expenses. So he's covering both areas. Usually Saturn makes you careful about expenses. So that is a thing to watch out for. In Pisces, when Saturn is going over your sun, then that could bring an identity crisis too. One of the things about Sun in Pisces will be that every year for the next 3 years, around your birthday, by transit, Sun will also be conjoined. So it's sort of, Saturn is a very important aspect. And generally, Saturn represents democracy, or being humble, and Sun is more about ego. So you have to be careful. Sometimes Saturn's transit can give an identity crisis when Saturn transits over the Sun. Saturn's transit can also suddenly make you feel that you're facing some issues with your father or with bosses. So basically, when Saturn is exactly transiting over your sun, then you do need to be cautious of it. But overall, the whole period, because of the Varshapal, or the birthday time, for the next few years, Saturn Sun will be conjoined together. So it's makes you feel under a lot of pressure, and also not so sweet as life should be. Moon in Pisces, of course, that if you have Moon in Pisces, that means you are in intense Sati. So the next 2.5 years, maybe, is Saturn is going over your Moon. This is an intense Sati time. During Sati, when intense Sati is there, one can have to change your job. Sometimes you lose your job. Sometimes finances are tight. Money worries can come in. And psychologically, I feel people think when Saturn is transiting over the Moon, must do something. And actually, the opposite is important, because you must be restrained, take care. You be very conscious of your finances. Don't take on extra debt. Less is more just now. That is the main thing. But I have made a number of videos on Sati. I would suggest that you watch those, and that would be very good for you. But restraints, patience, I don't want to repeat it for every sign, but for the Moon, it's the whole 2.5 years. But the 1 year where Saturn is exactly over your Moon, then that would be the crucial year. And the thing about Sati is it's difficult to make any prediction as such, because suddenly some issue comes up and we have to deal with it. Therefore, if our mindset is such that we know we are going through a challenging time, and if anything comes, then we calm down, take a rational decision about how to deal with it, not to allow your anxiety and worries to get out of control. Mars in Pisces, when Saturn goes over Mars in Pisces. Mars Karaka is brothers or siblings. So there can be some issues with siblings that can happen. Also for Pisces, Mars rules the second and ninth house. Second house is house of money. Ninth house is father or mentor or guru. So these are the areas that you can get affected by. And, suddenly Mars wants to take action and Saturn restricts you. So in a way, as far as finances are concerned, you take a sober view on finances. And there can be, some conflict with siblings or with father or father-like figures that you have to be careful about it. Don't escalate into something bigger. Mercury in Pisces. Mercury is, seventh house ruler for Pisces, fourth house ruler for Pisces. So fourth house is home, seventh house is relationship. So Saturn's transit over Mercury would be, creating some block as far as relationship is concerned. And fourth house, it can make you desire to move home or to change home. Now, Mercury in Pisces is very spiritual and not very practical. So one of the things that Saturn's transit can be helpful for you is that he's telling you to be more realistic, be more practical, and taking a practical choice at this stage would be better than doing something idealistic or non-materialistic. But definitely Saturn can create some difficulty in home. It can be change of home or also traveling. And also in relationships, you may come across some difficult aspect. And relationships very important to you. And when that issue comes, then deal with it at the time. Because as I said, I don't know your exact degrees of Mercury. So that is what is important to know. Jupiter and Pisces. Jupiter is your Lagna Lord, and so this is a double transit on your Lagna and Lagna Lord. You see, the other planets that we are talking about, it is a transit on the Lagna and that specific planet. But for Jupiter, it's the Lagna Lord as well. So it is you, your identity, and it is important to see that, watch out for your health. Normally, Saturn going over Lagna Lord will give health issues, and it's going over Lagna, but also it can create change in job. Also, Jupiter rules your 10th house. So it's rules the house of karma, career. So watch what you're doing, what karma you're creating, but it can have an impact on your work situation as well, and health. So those are the two things important to watch out for. Venus. Venus is exalted in your chart. You have it in Pisces. Very nice energy to have. But Venus also rules the 3rd house and the 8th house. And Venus is Karaka for marriage. So Saturn's transit over Venus can bring issues with marriage and sudden changes, or some big aspect comes that you have to deal with it, and it can change your view on marriage as well. But 3rd house is to do with siblings, and 8th house is transformation. So Saturn can bring those issues to some difficulty with relationship with siblings, and also some unexpected changes. But I think that the main thing about Saturn going over Venus is that it is going to impact marriage and relationships, and in a man's chart, wife. Saturn in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces means that you're getting a Saturn return. As Saturn comes into Pisces, it means either you're 29 years old or 58 or about 90-ish 89. These are the ages when Saturn comes into back to its own position. So that means you're getting a Saturn return. It's a start of a new cycle. If you're in 29, so it's time to be adult and mature. This is your first Saturn return. That means you're coming of age in a sense. After 30, we have much more responsibility, things like that. You're getting the second Saturn return. Then it means that Jupiter is also returning to the same position. And that is a very significant time. You may be thinking about retirement, or you may be thinking about, changing your outlook. According to Vedic astrology, our lifespan is 120 years. So when we come to 59, 60 years, then we are coming to halfway of the official lifespan. And therefore, it's a type of time to rethink your life, to replan what you're going to do over the next 30 years. So it's a very important time. And generally, during second Saturn return, one should also not neglect health. Rahu, Saturn transiting over Rahu in Pisces, that means that you have just recently had Rahu return, and then now Saturn is going to come into Pisces, and you're going to get the Saturn-Rahu conjunction, and then Saturn will transit over your natal Rahu as well. Generally, according to Sage Parashar, when Saturn transits over Rahu, it's one malefic over another. It is a challenging position. Remember, it's the exact transit, not the whole transit of Saturn in Pisces. It's the exact transit of Saturn in Pisces. That is the one that you have to watch out when Saturn goes over your Rahu. Often some issue comes up, something karmic, some old issue that you have to deal with. And, one has to watch out for that. Saturn going over your Ketu, Ketu is a past life planet, and Saturn is a present life. Saturn wants you to face up to your karma. Ketu wants you to let go of your karma. If Saturn going over Ketu in Pisces, it means that there can be some unexpected expense that can come up, some old bills or old dues that you have forgotten about. They could be money related, but they could also be some old responsibility or something you owe people, not always money related, that comes up. And Ketu being a past life planet, we don't know what Saturn stimulates. But the other aspect here is that Saturn is telling you to pay off your karma. Ketu's telling you to let go. So they're going in opposite directions. So this is also Saturn in Pisces time to be realistic about what you want to do and where you want to go. So I'm going to make another video for how it affects each one of your signs. And I just wanted to say one thing, that Saturn in Pisces is much more realistic. And we have to be thinking about here and now and keeping our feet on the ground and trying to face this transit with a realistic point of view. That means that not with ideological point of view, because Pisces is very ideological and spiritual, and Saturn is saying, face up to your issues, deal with them, have a practical consideration how you're going to deal with them. And Saturn doesn't let you hide behind any illusions or rose-colored glasses. And that's why Saturn's transit is more difficult, because he is telling us as it is and making us face the situation. And that is the most important thing, that if you are realistic and facing the situation, and sometimes while the transit is exact, we should not do anything. We should wait till the transit is over before making any major decisions, unless the decisions are out of our hand and we are forced to do something. Say if your job changes or you lose your job, it's not your choice. So then you have to think what to do. But don't make personal impulsive choices during this time. And especially if you know that Saturn is making the exact transit for you, then during that time you are being extra cautious. Then the other thing is this, that Saturn's transit over the malefic. So the malefic planets are Sun, Saturn itself, Rahu, Ketu, and Mars. So Sage Parashar always says those are transit of malefic over malefic is difficult. So treat that with little extra caution, because when those transits are taking place, they're not going to be easy on you. And however much you want to think, okay, I'll do this or this will happen, when a transit is challenging, some challenge comes to us. So as I said, Saturn is realism and realistic energy. And then other important thing to remember is you have many planets in Pisces. That means that every time you think, oh, I've finished this transit, another one comes. So then this next 2.5, 3 years, it's from 25 to 28 with a little break, means that you have to treat each transit separately. It's going over my Sun, it's going over my Mercury, Venus, those are the planets that are usually together. So, but main thing is this, that while this is happening, that being realistic about life is the best, and restrained and careful. That is it for today. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification, and I will be making the video part 3 of the Saturn in Pisces video, which I'm going to be doing about each of the signs. So from Aries to Pisces, all the best. Thank you very much. Namaste.